Evil Dead Rise is written and directed by Lee Cronin and is not really a sequel or continuation of the Evil Dead franchise. Now, I lied. I did say I would probably give this 24 hours to collect my thoughts, but screw that. I've just got back from the cinema about 5 minutes ago. I am full of nervous energy from this film in a really good way. And I think because of that, I'm sort of want to get my thoughts down now and just talk about this film, which I really did like, and I'll come and talk to that shortly. In terms of a synopsis, let's just get through the basics. So, a reunion between two estranged sisters gets cut short by the rise of a flesh possessing demon, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. Or, if you really want to simplify it and you know the Evil Dead series, this is the Evil Dead but in a high rise. It's very, very much in the vein of the franchise, The Evil Dead. I would say it's not my massive favourite franchise of all of them, but I like it because it's a really simple formula and it allows for sequels or it allows for new versions of the film without tying itself up in knots, justifying itself like we sometimes get with other sort of horror franchises. I'm maybe talking about you, Scream, but that's another topic. So yeah, let me just talk this film through. This was brutal. This was, I would say, an ordeal to get through it in the best possible way. It's really violent. It's very gory. It's a lot of fun. That said, it's not massively full of jokes or humour. It just whips along. It's just such an efficient, quick 90-minute in and out film that really does exactly what you want it to do for an Evil Dead movie. I think if you don't know the Evil Dead, it's not really a criticism. Most of the films are pretty paper thin on plot. They pretty much start with the same thing. Someone finds the Necronomicon, which is a book, sort of Book of the Dead, and when you kind of recant some verses within the book, it brings this demonic force to life and possesses the various cast of characters in every film. And as I said, you can then apply that to different characters, different settings. Most, the sequels don't always have any kind of connection to the last film. I think, Evil Dead, Dead by Dawn, and then sort of Army of Darkness had a bit of continuation, but by and large, they operate quite well as their own individual thing. And yeah, I think the 2013 remake, which is brilliant, by the way, and you must go and check that out if you haven't seen it. I think that had probably a little bit more depth. I think just because of the nature of the film and the reasons why they ended up in this kind of cabin in the woods that they did. I think this film, I mean, we get probably 10, 15 minutes of plot and character development. And then we're straight into a pretty relentless kind of ride for the next kind of 80 minutes of the film. That said, the characters I thought were quite likable. I felt their peril. I felt their pain. There was an element of not wanting them to get sucked into this kind of nightmare that they are. So yeah, great cast, really fun, really sympathetic. The gore and the violence, my God, this just doesn't stop. And I spent, an hour and a half in the cinema on my own, just shoulders up, clutching my head at some point, dreading what was about to come, and kind of knowing that, we were going to see some shit. And we did. And I don't think the film lets us down in that respect. I do think it delivers what it sets out to deliver. It's a bit like going on a ghost train, but for 90 minutes, it's just constant scares, shocks. Not too many cheap jump scares, actually. I think it ratchets up the tension. It sustains an interest. And I also think it looks good. The whole film pretty much is set within a very small apartment with the occasional diversion out. But the set design is great. It's a really oppressive, really moody setting for this kind of film. And actually really works, I think, because moving away from that sort of cabin in the woods setting really helps. I think it just gives it a bit more interest. In terms of things I'm not so sure about, I don't know. I think I'd be interested to see how I feel about this on a repeat watch, whether my joy and the kind of interest in the film is sustained seeing it again, because it's one of those films that the first time you see it, you will never get that back. And you'll be kind of interested to see. I think there'll probably be more joy for me watching this with other people. And it'd be a great sort of party movie to get people in a room that haven't seen it and just get them to experience it for the first time and gauge their reaction. But we'll see. I will definitely watch it again. It's fun. It's really entertaining. And as I said, it doesn't sort of twist itself in knots trying to justify itself. What I really love, and we've had years now of legacy sequels and fan service, there isn't a lot of fan service in this. They don't really labour on giving the fans what they want from an Evil Dead movie. Obviously, it follows that basic template, but we don't even get Bruce Campbell saying groovy in this, and I really appreciate that. I like new ideas. I don't like constant winks and callbacks all the time to films when it's not needed. So this is brief. I don't need to do spoilers because it's just not that kind of film, and if you see it, you'll kind of get what I mean. It's not a film to spoil. You know exactly what it is going into it. It doesn't disappoint, and there's not a hell of a lot to spoil anyway. So I would say go and see it at the cinema, enjoy it on the big screen, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. Score wise, really difficult. I think because it doesn't have the depth, that probably knocks it down a little bit, because I do kind of like something to kind of get my teeth into. And again, I'm not sure how it's going to hold up on a repeat watch. That said, I'm going to give this an 8. And then I think when I do my little roundup at the end of the year of all the horror films I've seen this year, we'll sort of see where that kind of ends up. But yeah, this is a joy to watch. Really good fun. Do go and see it. Otherwise, thanks for joining again. It's been a few weeks. I think we've got another sort of run of really good horror films coming up. Beau is Afraid is out next month, which is Ari Aster's new third film. Very excited to go and see that. There's a couple of films I haven't seen. The Pope's Exorcist and Renfield just didn't look like my kind of thing. Might kind of wait for those to kind of come out on streaming at some point. But yeah, there's a great run of things coming. So stick with me, like and subscribe as you should be. And I'll catch you in the next one.